I'm here with Alexander Mercouris, editor-in-chief of the Duran. Alexander, let's talk about President Trump's announcement that he will be declassifying a lot of documents related to the Russiagate hoax. And he has given orders to the FBI, the CIA, the intelligence agencies to fully cooperate with DOJ Barr. This is huge news. And I think this is once again the clearest sign that the Russiagate hoax is going to be unraveling and that
Yes.
Trump is hitting back. But let me read you some tweets that Trump sent out related to this announcement, and you can comment after that. So Trump tweeted, "Today, at the request and recommendation of the Attorney General of the United States, President Donald J. Trump directed the intelligence community to quickly and fully cooperate with the Attorney General's investigation into surveillance activities. During the 2016 presidential election, the Attorney General has also been delegated full and complete authority to declassify information pertaining to this investigation, in accordance with the long-established standards for handling classified information." Trump also tweeted, Alexander, "Today's action will help ensure that all Americans learn the truth about the events that occurred and the actions that were taken during the last presidential election and will restore confidence in our public institutions." Alexander.
Well, this is huge news because it now proves conclusively that we have a real investigation underway. I mean, right up to this moment, I think one could have some doubts about it. But the most important thing about this announcement is, firstly, that these powers are being delegated to William Barr, that is to say, the Attorney General of the United States. Secondly, that they are being empowering him to get all the information he needs from right across the intelligence and state security bureaucracy. Now, a presidential order of this kind is binding on these agencies, on the bureaucracy. They have to carry it out. It has, in effect, the force of law. So they have to now cooperate with Barr. And, of course, that means that Barr is working very, very closely with Donald Trump. He's obviously extremely concerned about what is happening, and he is clearly doing what he has given every impression of wanting to do: investigate this thing thoroughly to get to the bottom of what actually happened in 2016. We've done programs about this. We've done programs about the various discussions, the interviews that George Papadopoulos has given to Mark Stein, in which poor Papadopoulos has explained how he was placed under surveillance and how he was subjected to repeated provocations and manipulation by what appear to have been the intelligence agencies. And we've also discussed the extraordinary saga of Christopher Steele's dossier and the uses to which that was put. Now we have an investigation which is going to join all the dots. It increasingly looks like it's going to do that. And I think that around this time next year, possibly sooner, we will know the truth.
All right, let me read you a paragraph here, an excerpt from Hedge, and you can comment afterwards. "The pending declassifications were announced on Tuesday night by The Hill's John Solomon and Fox News' Sean Hannity, whose inside sources told them of the wide swath of information about to hit. Among the documents slated for release, according to their sources, will be the so-called Bucket 5, documents which were originally presented to the Gang of Eight in 2016, which included everything the FBI and DOJ used against Trump campaign aide Carter Page, including the FISA surveillance application and its underlying exculpatory intelligence documents, which the FISA court may have never seen." Alexander, what do you make of that?
Well, I think that's momentous because, of course, the point about the exculpatory documents, which the FISA court had never seen, is that they call into question the legality of the FISA warrant. Because the whole point about the FISA warrant is that you're supposed to, the FBI and the Department of Justice are supposed to tell the FISA court everything. They're supposed to provide all the evidence that both is against the target for surveillance and the evidence that exculpates the target for surveillance. If that evidence was not provided to the FISA court, and by the way, we know that there was evidence which was not provided to the FISA court, which would have exculpated Carter Page. Evidence like the fact that the FBI definitely knew that the Steele dossier was being funded by Hillary Clinton's campaign. Evidence that the FISA court, the FBI definitely knew that Christopher Steele was a hatchet man who was deeply biased against Donald Trump. Evidence that the Steele dossier itself had not been verified. Evidence that Christopher Steele had been talking to the media. All of these things we know now, we already know, were not provided to the FISA court. But I'm going to make a guess that there's a lot more that we haven't yet learned. It's going to call into question the whole basis of the FISA proceedings, and it's going to call into question the conduct of those people who signed off on it, including, of course, James Comey, Rosenstein, Sarah Yates, Sally Yates, all of these people and what they got up to. And I'm going to say something else, because the FISA warrant against Carter Page is just one little bit of this puzzle. I am sure there's lots of other things that are lurking in the background. I think we're going to find that there are lots of horrors hiding. And for me, the single most important set of documents, the real ticking bomb, is the report that we know in August 2016, Brennan, director of the CIA, sent to Barack Obama, President of the United States. That, I think, is the really explosive revelation which is to come.
Explain that. Go further into that if you can.
Well, because we know that the CIA did send in August 2016 this report to Obama. This report alleged that there was this Russian campaign to get Donald Trump elected. This report also alleged that he'd captured Vladimir Putin's direct instructions to the Russian intelligence service to facilitate Donald Trump's election and to hack the DNC computers. We know that there is, in fact, no evidence of that apart from the Steele dossier. And we also know that it was that report by the CIA to Barack Obama that in some ways institutionalized the entire Russiagate investigation, and which brought it, in effect, under the direct control of the White House. I mean, I say that you will remember that there were emails passing between Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, in which they were saying to each other that the POTUS, in other words, Barack Obama, was following what they were doing. So there we are. I mean, we know that this took place. What will happen when we actually see what those documents provided to Barack Obama said? We will know the whole truth, more than anything else, about the connection between the politicians and the intelligence agencies, which were at the heart of the perpetration of the Russiagate investigation and of the Russiagate hoax.
Is this what led to so many of the unmaskings, the unorthodox unmaskings that took place? For example, Samantha Power having 300, I think, unmasked 300 people, which is unheard of for a UN ambassador. I think it was actually Susan Rice by this time, rather than Samantha Power, who did these things. But can I just say, that's never been confirmed one way or the other. Hopefully now it will be confirmed. And of course we will learn about that. And all those unmaskings which took place in the run-up to the change of administration, because these unmaskings took place after the November election, but before Donald Trump became president, during the transition period, were the deliberate planting of a bomb
underneath the Trump administration, the incoming Trump administration. So whoever was involved in all of that, that is an extremely serious matter. There's no doubt it came from the White House. The same source that revealed the report by the CIA to Obama in August 2016 revealed the unmaskings, and it was the Washington Post in an article which it published in June 2017, undoubtedly after being given that information by the intelligence agencies. So there's no question at all that that took place. And I do not believe that whoever took that extraordinary step of doing that unmasking in the autumn of 2016, after the presidential election, acted without the knowledge of the President of the United States, who was, of course, Barack Obama.
So it shows that Brennan was indeed the person that cooked up this bomb. And it shows that Obama, at the very least, was kept in the loop as to the spying, the unmasking, the FISA warrants. And at the very worst, at the most, what does it say about Obama? That he was actually the person that ordered Brennan to do this?
Well, possibly. I mean, we will now find out. I mean, the very fact that he was in the know, and I do, by the way, believe that he could not have been in the know. I mean, he was directly involved in some form. You can't carry out an operation of this sophistication and of this complexity, including unmasking people, without people in the White House bureaucracy being informed about it, and without the president himself at some level knowing about it. It is simply not possible. So, the question is, it's the old Watergate question. What did the president know? When did he know it? With the addition in this case of what did he actually do? What did he in fact order? What did he believe when he was getting all this information from the CIA? Did he really believe that there was indeed a Russian influence operation? What orders did he give to the bureaucracy? Did he himself authorize all the unmaskings? Or did he instruct them? Or did he just greenlight them and look the other way, as Barack Obama all too often did? So I don't think he's going to come out comfortably from this affair. I would remind you of something else, which is that in March 2017, Donald Trump published at that time, very famous, though now largely forgotten, tweet in which he accused Barack Obama of authorizing wiretapping of Donald Trump's telephone during the election itself. People ridiculed that suggestion afterwards. Barack Obama published what I thought was an extraordinarily contorted denial, which wasn't, if you examined it carefully, a denial at all. It basically said that he didn't actually authorize it himself, but it left open the possibility that the DOJ, the Justice Department, did. Comey pretended that he knew nothing about it. Clapper pretended that he knew nothing about it. I have no doubt that we're going to discover that it actually took place. And again, the big question is, who authorized it? How did it happen? And where did all that information go?
Yeah, I remember that. And the media played their little wizardry games, and they got people to focus on the word wiretap.
Exactly.
And they distracted everyone from the overall wider picture meaning of what Trump was saying.
Which was surveillance.
Yeah.
It was absolutely, the point was it was surveillance.
Yeah.
And clearly surveillance was going on. And let's perhaps not drop this euphemistic word surveillance. Let's use the word that Barr, very controversially, but I have no doubt very intentionally used, which was spying, because that's what it was. One campaign during the presidential election was spying on the other with the assistance of the United States' intelligence agencies and state security bureaucracy.
All right. And so we see the Republicans, we see Trump, we see Barr, and we see a lot of the Republican senators also now starting to go on the offensive now that the Mueller investigation has ended. And before you comment that, Alexander, let me give you a quick quote. I'm going to paraphrase Lindsey Graham. He was on Fox and Friends yesterday in the morning, and this is what he said. He said that the FBI knew well in advance that Papadopoulos had zero Russian connections, but yet they continued to surveil him. And he said, I think this is the most important part, he says in the next coming days, you will start seeing documents that show this. What do you make of this?
Well, I think there's no question about it. I'd go back to the first interview that Papadopoulos gave with Mark Stein. Might have been the second interview, actually, in which he said that he believes that he was the subject of a FISA warrant, of a FISA surveillance. Trey Gowdy, who, of course, like Lindsey Graham, has seen far more of these documents than we have done. Remember, Gowdy and Graham were both members. Well, in Graham's case, he actually chairs.
No, he chairs.
He chairs the Senate Judiciary Committee. But Gowdy was a member of the House Intelligence Committee. They have had sight of a lot of the documents which we haven't seen. And Gowdy has dropped very, very, very heavy hints that there are actual transcripts of conversations that Papadopoulos had. In other words, somebody was recording Papadopoulos' conversations during the 2016 election and probably during the 2017 transition period, and was passing on this information to the US intelligence community, assuming that these recordings were not undertaken by the US intelligence community themselves. And again, how did that happen? Why did that happen, given what Lindsey Graham is telling us, that the intelligence community and the FBI knew that Papadopoulos had no Russian contacts at all, and, may I add, had broken no law and had done nothing wrong? Why was an American citizen placed under surveillance when they had broken no law and done nothing wrong?
All right. We're going to find out why, I think, very soon.
Indeed. Well, indeed we are.
Absolutely,
Indeed we are. And, of course, as I said, I mean, I suspect that criminal offences have been committed all over the place. And not surprisingly, you see the Democrats becoming increasingly rattled and worried and issuing subpoenas all over the place. You see people like Robert Mueller, who certainly knows a lot of the truth, now dodging the subpoenas, which is very interesting, by the way. He's obviously very reluctant to answer questions in a public forum about what he actually knows, especially when he knows that some of those questions are going to be asked of him by Republicans who are at least as familiar with the information as he is. And of course, we see Brennan and Comey already engaging, and each of them engaging in recriminations and as you said, ratting each other up.
Yeah, they're losing their cool. All of them, from Mueller to Comey to Brennan to the Democrats to Pelosi to Nadler, Schiff, they're all losing their cool. They know what's coming.
Absolutely. You know, I'm going to add something, actually, that the Democrats made a massive mistake after the Mueller report was published. If they'd simply said, right, we've got the report, we accept that there was no collusion, we don't think that Trump behaved properly over the obstruction, but we're not going to pursue this thing further. We're now going to concentrate on the issues that really concern Americans: housing, jobs, the economy, immigration, education, student loans, those things. They would have been in a position to say that Trump was being vindictive. Trump and Barr were being vindictive by pursuing these investigations. What they did instead was that they tried to reheat up the investigations after Mueller had reported that there was nothing there. And so the result is that they look vindictive, which makes it far easier for Trump and Barr to explain to the American people what they're now doing.
And eventually, I think they're going to push for impeachment. I think Nancy Pelosi is almost there. I think about 80% of her party wants it.
Well, I think that's right. But, what are they going to impeach Trump on? I mean,
They're just going to bury a much, much bigger hole for themselves.
well, absolutely. Yeah. They don't seem to know when to stop.
No.
And this is what is so bizarre about this thing. And I fully expect before very long, by the way, extradition requests are finding their way to London for
Good.
Christopher Steele to be brought over to Britain, to the United States, rather, to face charges there. I mean, I'm sure that's going to happen.
Mifsud, Halper, I want to see all these guys.
All of these
I want to see all these guys. Bring them all.
Or at least bring them all. Maybe not, even if not extradition requests, certainly demands for them to come and to explain themselves and to be properly cross-examined and questioned by proper investigators, taking their instructions this time, ultimately, from the Attorney General of the United States, William Barr, in an investigation that is properly conducted.
Perfect timing for Trump. About a year and a half right before 2020. Perfect timing.
Absolutely.
It couldn't have been timed better for him.
Of course not. I mean, this is the utter folly this is the absurdity of what the Democrats have done. They brought this disaster on themselves by pursuing a hoax that had no reality, and which many of them knew was a hoax, which had no reality, because I don't believe that the highly intelligent people that there are in the Democratic Party, at least some of them are intelligent, not all of them.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, anyway, but I mean, some of these people must have figured out pretty early on that there was nothing really there. I mean, but I mean, they went along with it. They let their hardliners, people like Adam Schiff, lead them along, and of course they pandered to their base instead of telling everybody, look, this just isn't going anywhere. I mean, there just isn't anything there. And we should concentrate on other things. Now it's going to blow up in their face spectacularly with the 2020 elections now coming.
Absolutely. Break out your popcorn, because it's just going to get better, that's for sure.
Indeed.
Alexander Mercouris, Editor-in-Chief of the Duran, thank you very much. Guys, if you like this video, click on the subscribe button down below. Click on that notifications bell to get notifications every time we push out a new video. And visit the Duran shop, pick up a t-shirt like the one I have on right now, or you can pick up a polo shirt like the one Alexander is wearing. Alexander, that is the black polo with the gold embroidered double-headed eagle, correct?
Absolutely, just above one's heart, incredibly comfortable to wear, beautiful quality, 100% cotton. I cannot recommend it too highly. I'm a great devotee of this shirt. I love wearing it. It's perfect for hot days like this one, or even like the cooler days we have in London. It's immensely comfortable. Can't recommend it too strongly.
And I think you have 3 more items on the way, I believe.
Absolutely.
A gray or a white polo, I think, is on the way.
That's right. And a long-sleeved T-shirt, which I'm also looking very much forward to, also with a gold eagle there.
And you also have
and mugs, I believe.
That's right. And you have a mug on the way. All right, guys. And you can donate to us on PayPal and Patreon as well. That also helps us out. Links are in the description box down below. You can get a copy of this video in audio format. Follow us on iTunes and on SoundCloud as well. And don't forget, follow us on Instagram, theduran_.com, and download the Blank Chat app to get notifications every time we publish a new video as well. And go to theduran.com and see all the articles that Alexander is looking up to every day. Alexander Mercouris, Editor-in-Chief of the Duran. Thank you once again. Until next time, everybody. Take care.